What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? This is Stay Your Blade. You're about to watch an awesome podcast with Gooperatives and I. We discuss mental health, Warframe, his entire journey through Twitch, and I hope you guys enjoy and stick around for the very end because it was just a great podcast in general. So I hope you enjoy. Peace. I want you to do a real quick intro to yourself and tell everyone about yourself if they have not already seen you on here before.
Sure. My name is Goop. The intended name with my Twitch name was Gooperatives, but it got shorthanded forcefully by the world into Goop. I'm a mental health advocate on Twitch. As we were streaming Variety and other games in Warframe even, we started having like real in-depth talks. I started working through like my own psychological issues, and we just started becoming a place where we educate ourselves and we promote appropriate mental health awareness and stability as people start to like go to therapy or as people pursue actual medical evaluations and treatments and things like that. We create a space where people can vent and kind of get things off their chest and get support. Play a lot of games. I'm a Warframe partner, so I think clocked almost 2K hours amongst all 4 platforms.
Nice.
But a lot of Smash Bros and Splatoon, and I'm excited to play Anthem. And so we're kind of all over the place in terms of like what we like. So yeah, that's me.
I like it. The biggest thing I would say is that what drew me to you originally was the hair. I was like, man, I really like his hair. And then it was just everything I kind of got sucked in. And then you were like, oh yeah, I play Warframe. So I was like, what is Warframe? Never knew about it. I was like, let me check it out. And then I saw your video on YouTube. Wasn't even subscribed to you at the time. And it was like, oh, it's on the Switch. And I had just bought a Switch at that time. I was like, oh, hell yeah. Like, let's do this. And then, needless to say, now I have you on the podcast. So
I appreciate it. I like to hear those stories of like I just pop up in a feed somewhere and someone's like, yeah, okay, sure. Yeah. And then like it just devolves. Yeah.
No, I love that. So why Gooperatives? Like, what was the whole point to the name originally?
Originally, I had a YouTube channel. Oh, the timing is weird. I think it was in like 2013, 2014. I worked at a Best Buy, and I had a friend, and we both watched a lot of Game Grumps and like other Let's Play channels on YouTube. And we're both like, we play video games. I had content creation experience, so I was like, let's do that. Like, let's make YouTube videos. Like, let's do it. So yeah. The idea, we were thinking of a name, and I was like, well, the way I'd like it to feel is that like we're best buds on a couch, you know, like no matter what, because that was sort of when gaming had been online for a long time. Like the couch co-op thing started sort of going away. So I was like, it feels like we're playing a couch co-op game no matter what we're doing, even if we're playing like a single player game. So I was like, let's do like something cooperative. My last name started with a G and his last name started with an O. Yeah. So I was like, we could do Gooperatives, and we're like, that's the one. So we did Cooperative Gaming for a while, but like cooperative game, like gaming, right, on a handle is always too on the nose. Yeah. So we were like, let's just do like when the YouTube channel sank and he went back to school, and I was like, okay, well, I want to do Twitch. I was like, let's just do Gooperatives and let's just shorten that. And here we are.
And here we are. No, and honestly, it's one of those names where you look at it and you're like, is it goo? And it makes you want to like ask. That point, you're like, okay, now I got to go into the channel and ask what's going on. Like what, you know? So it's a good thing. It's kind of it's one of those putting out the lore and having someone just be like, all right, now I got you. And it's just something so
just
simple.
Gotta bite the hook.
Yeah, it's something so simple that people are like, but I don't understand. Like, hold on, just give it a second. Well, we'll explain it to you in chat.
Yep.
No, but I love that. So when did you actually start streaming in general?
That's a good question. I think it's 2019 now. So I think it was the summer of 2016. Okay. Yeah. So we'd been doing YouTube for a few years, and my friend was like, well, we're not going anywhere. Like we were putting out a video a day for like 2 years.
Wow.
All kinds of Let's Plays. Yeah, it was every Monday we would record for 8 or 9 hours, like different games. Like we had like, this is our series Let's Play, and this is our one-off game, and this is the newest thing. So, and then I would video edit, throughout the week and post all that stuff. But so he was like, I kind of got to get serious about my life. I don't want to work at Best Buy forever. And I was like, I can't blame you, but like, So he was like, I'm going to go to college. I was like, well, YouTube as like a singular person, like I'm not a bold enough personality in that way to float a YouTube channel. So I was like, I'll do this live thing called Twitch that I don't think is ever going to go anywhere. Like, here we
Needless to say.
So it originally started with like, I got sucked into Overwatch. I really loved Overwatch. And then it was like, okay, let's play, Destiny. Let's try like solo raiding in Destiny before they patched that out. And let's do Dark Souls. And it just sort of kept evolving in a way. And we'd done YouTube for so long that like I knew all the equipment, how to get stuff done. It was just a matter of like establishing myself as a broadcaster and learning.
Yeah.
And that's a process. So
it makes sense. It's the biggest thing I think is, you can't just jump head into it. You have to kind of like, you have to learn your stuff, and then you got to be like, what works for me? Like, I played a lot of Overwatch for a long time. The problem with Overwatch is that I don't pay attention to chat, and I'm only paying attention to the game. And then I look over and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm still streaming. I probably should talk. and
Right.
That's like one of the big things. Like, so shifting over to a game like Just Dance for me turned into me. I dance and then I stop and I'll pay attention to chat between, because I had to take a breath so I can drink something, because otherwise I'm gonna die in here. Right. So it's kind of like a win-win for me. So I can still pay attention to chat, but I still entertain in the long run. How do you feel that changing from where you were at on YouTube to where you're at now? What was the biggest thing that was like a hurdle for you to jump through?
It was weird because doing post-production content versus live content or pre-production content, it went, so a lot of people, when they jump right into streaming, they're streaming to nobody. Right. And that's really difficult for a lot of people, because they've seen other streams and they're like, well, eventually somebody will pop in here, right? But that's not always the case. For YouTube, we were streaming, like we were just recording and talking, like that was it. There was no audience to bounce off of. So moving into Twitch was super easy, because I'd already developed that capability of keeping a conversation going, riffing off of the game, commentating, whatever. So that stuff was actually pretty easy. More or less it was learning about, like, putting yourself in the right directories, or what games do you play, what games have an active audience and what doesn't. And, like, look, this game is coming out, so you should play its prequel. And like, there's some audience there, and like learning how to put yourself in the best spot for opportunities. That was the hardest part to learn, I think.
When you were starting off with Warframe, did you think that it was going to turn into what you are now with a Warframe partner and all that?
No. Fun fact is I played Warframe on stream at one point. And I was like, free game, PlayStation. I didn't have a PC that was like even close to good enough. So I was like, okay, we'll play it. Sure.
Yeah.
Hated it. Absolutely. Like I loved it, right? You get through like Vor's prize. You get through the first quest, you're like, okay, cool. And then it dumps you into the game and you're like, I just run like capture defense missions over and over. Like, this is not what I want. And so I quit. I was like, man, I'm out. And then I saw another broadcaster, a good friend of mine, because the Warframe has their TennoCon in Canada every year.
Okay.
And it was around that time. And I saw them getting hyped for the Plains of Eidolon expansion, and people freaking out about there being this big sandbox area. And I was like, okay, like I want to ride that train. Like, that seems really cool. So at that point I had established myself a little bit more, and I was like, okay, let's play some Warframe. And I dove back in and actually had a community that had played it and kind of pushed me and helped me to understand it. So I just kept playing and kept playing. Fast forward like 3 months later to TwitchCon 2017, which is my first TwitchCon.
Okay.
and they had a booth, and I was like, yo, this is so cool, like this is crazy. And a friend of mine was like, yeah, they have partners, like you should apply, you've been playing for a few months. Like I was like,
Yeah.
he was like, you're over like the 2,500 follower requirement. I was like, they won't want me, like it's fine, you know.
Yeah.
I applied. Their acceptance of my application went to my junk mail and sat there for 2 weeks.
What? No.
Yeah. so I was like, yo, but it was I don't say it's the reason I'm a partner on Twitch, but it was kind of that moment of like me getting that confidence of being like, wait, like I do have something here.
Yeah.
You know, a company is putting faith in me to represent their brand and their game. And so I went hard on Warframe like after that for like 8 months, like
That's
nonstop.
awesome.
That's all
That's
I played.
awesome.
So
no, and then here's the big thing is that it's a game that it went from, oh, I'm just kind of casually playing, to all of a sudden you're like, well shit, I'm helping represent the game. And it was just like that, like, it's not just like that, but I'm saying it's one of those things that it's almost like unreal. And then you look and you're like, oh shit, I actually did it. Like I actually, okay, all right, let's see where I can go from here. Like if I can do this, let me try to do this now. Let me take that next step to this whole thing. And it's like, then it snowballs. And I like seeing that because it keeps you on the train. It's like what's the chasing the dragon. It's like chasing the dragon constantly. You're like, oh shit, I can do this. Let me do this now. Oh, I can do that. Let me go for, I'm gonna go work with I don't know, Razor or something. And then they hit and you're like, holy shit. Like it's just, I love it.
It's it's kind of one of those things, because people go to conventions and they don't know how to like sell themselves, right? But like once I kind of got Warframe Partner, I was like, okay, like that doesn't define me. I'm like, I'm a Warframe Partner. Like Digital Extremes puts their faith in me to represent. So you can kind of not leverage it, but be like, I'm already doing this sort of stuff. So yeah, it snowballs, because then you can work with other game companies, other game developers, and then get sponsorship. And it just, it helps to like, it gave me a boost to know that I do have a little bit more to offer.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. So when you were starting off streaming, did you start off working as a mental health advocate, or was that something that kind of just worked into it?
Not at all, actually. Yeah, I was not a mentally healthy person by my own standards at that point in time. So I started streaming, and so I'd gone to therapy briefly when I was like 17 for about a better part of like an 8-month stint after my initial diagnosis. But after that, I kind of shelved all of my mental health. Like I didn't follow up with it. I didn't take any proactive action. I was just like, well, I have a diagnosis. And then I just kept living life.
Right.
So at this point I was on Twitch, and as I started to grow on Twitch, I started to become that toxic person that was like, why are more people not tuning in? Why, like started getting really obsessive about those numbers and hitting those goals that are sort of useless in a way, right? So I started kind of realizing, or I started kind of seeing that in myself. And I did a thing you should never do. And I asked the internet for anonymous feedback because I was becoming very frustrated with myself. I hated my job and I really wanted to take on full-time streaming. And we were making a good amount of money through what we were doing, but it wasn't quite there. And so I became really down on myself. I was very hard on myself about, how do I become better? Oh, people aren't showing up, so I must be a bad broadcaster.
Right.
So I asked my community, like, hey, put your advice slip in this digital box. And there was a lot of very harsh feedback about how people perceived me, and from me being sort of obsessed about growth and numbers and like this success quota. There was somebody actually, and this is the advice that helped me to change. Somebody said, you get so obsessed about the people that aren't here and about the growth that you're not really living or broadcasting for the people that are here.
Yes.
And that kind of hit me. And so I really opened up on stream. We started talking a lot more about my anxieties with broadcasting, my anxieties with like my own confidence as a person,
Mhm.
which is where that stems from, right? Like, I don't think I'm a good enough broadcaster, so I need the numbers to validate me.
I gotcha.
Things like that. So we started snowballing, and I started talking about all of that. And the more I started talking about my anxieties, and the more I started like opening up about that stuff, it people started resonating more with those messages, going like, oh, I feel that way about schoolwork, or I feel that way about my relationships. And we just sort of started talking about it. So I started doing a lot more reading and research, and started giving like my perspectives. And the thing is I never want people to come in to chat for advice. Like, we're not necessarily, because I'm not a therapist, and that puts
Right.
me in a weird spot, but I'll be like, hey, I've been in that spot. Here's what I did. Here's like my perspective. So that's kind of where we are now. That's just continued to grow. And I've taken my stream and tried to innovate myself to be better, but to also show people that they can do the same thing with themselves.
No, and I like that. I like that. It's you have a lot of experience just living, and then
Yeah.
even if it might not help every single person, just helping one person is just, I mean, it's a phenomenal thing. My big thing, and I implemented this probably about 2 years ago, it was my it was like a promise to myself that every day I would try to make one person smile, even if it was like, me, I fell on my ass and they laughed and smiled because of that. Cool, whatever. Like, it's a win in my book. That's a check off. Like, I won that day. Even if I was having an absolute dog shit day, I did something for someone else and it helped me out in the long run. I feel like I at least did something to better the world than it was 20 minutes ago, and I think that was the turning point for me, because I started to push out all the negative crap that was in my life and left room for as much positivity that could fill my life as possible. And it's definitely resonated, like, with what I'm doing, just my mental like attitude towards stuff. Because my whole thing is, like, with this podcast is not meant for me. This podcast is meant to enlighten people that are new to streaming or just don't know who people are on the platform. And I like to shed a light on people that are, could be the next big, streamer that someone might not know about. Someone might not know who you are at this point, but then they listen to this podcast, go, wow, I really like this guy, I should check him out. And then you check them out, and then 2 years later, they're still talking to you or on your stream because of the fact of me pushing them towards them. That's my biggest thing, is I love connecting people, and it's definitely shown. I had last TwitchCon, I had someone come up to me and were like, oh yeah, you do Bladecast, and I was like, yeah. And he's like, I've never watched your channel, but I've watched your videos on YouTube. And I was like,
oh, that's cool.
I was like, that's so weird. I'm like, that's awesome, but that's so weird.
It is, that's the weirdest. It never gets better.
my first TwitchCon, I had someone yell "Stay your blade" from across the parking lot as I'm getting and I was like, I froze. I was like, well, who the hell just said that? And I was like looking, and I'm like, no one knows who I am. What the hell? Guy walks up, he's like, yeah, man, I'm so and so. And I was like, oh shit, you're a real person. Holy, all right,
and
then
it sets in.
Oh, it was so good. Like, now when you because 2017 was my first TwitchCon as well. Was it like a mind blow for you going there?
Yeah, it was definitely weird. The only convention I had gone to before that was PAX South of 2017, and the difference between those were night and day. I went to PAX South, and I think I had like 500 followers. I was still, like, in my mind, very small, and I wasn't rooted anywhere. I had no idea what I was doing. Going to TwitchCon, I was going like 2,500. I was a mod in another partner broadcasters community. I was still an affiliate, so I went knowing way more people and feeling more comfortable. I still didn't feel established. I still felt like I was part of someone else's group instead of like part of my own group.
Yeah.
But it definitely was. It was insane to see all of these other broadcasters walking around. And it was one of those things where I was like, I'm not going to bother you. But like, I see you, you're real. Like, you go through and you're like, oh, they look busy. And you just don't do anything.
Yep.
But yeah, it was quite frankly overwhelming. But it really like reinforced that like streamers are just normal people.
Just
I
normal.
mean, 90% of them. Yeah. So but yeah, it was mind blowing. It was overwhelming because PAX South, I don't, PAX South is real tiny. It's just like there are some streamers, but it's just like also fans of games and stuff.
Fans of everything.
Yeah, TwitchCon is like people crying, like, "Oh my god, I get to meet my best friend that I've talked to on the internet for 4 years." And yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I loved it though.
I think the best thing about 2017's TwitchCon was I met a streamer by the name of Mick Loken, who I had never met before. I never really knew who he was. A friend of mine knew him because he would watch him and stuff, and I didn't know who he was. I was like talking to him, and he was just like bullshit and shooting the shit with me. And then he's like, "Yeah, you know who I am?" And I was like, "No." And he was like, "Cool, good." And then he showed me his name. He showed me his name on the what are they, Coke bottles or whatever. And he's like, "My name's Mick Loken." And I was like, "Oh, so you're a partner?" He's like, "Yeah." And I was like, I didn't freak out, nothing. And I was like, "This is just a dude. This is just a dude with a beard." Like it didn't. Yep. But then I met like people that I had been following forever, and I was like, "Hi." Like it's just so it's just like another. So now I'm at that level where I'm just like, you know what? They're a person. Just walk up to them. It's okay. Like it's okay. Yep. Don't freak out. You know.
Yeah. That was definitely me. Cause I had met Keyblade Sarah at PAX South 2017, and she had just gotten partnered. But I didn't know who she was. Like I had no idea who she was. And like we had dinner with like our group of friends and everything. And that was at PAX South. And then like fast forward to TwitchCon 2017. Like I am one of her mods. We're hanging out. Like we got like a huge mod B&B together. Like she was very much like an ordinary person. But like then I see Daniel the Demon at like TwitchCon 2017, and I'm like I just like don't say anything to him. Like he looks really busy, so I'm just gonna sit over here. And then fast forward to going to TennoCon in 2018.
Yeah,
and I go to TennoCon, and Daniel is like, "Goop baby, what's up?" Like he knows who I am, and I'm like, "Oh." And yeah, so it just devolved into like, okay, they're just people. I should really stop doing this to myself. So
it's like a horrible cycle. And I think for me it was going to the bars in Long Beach and getting drunk with some of them where it was like it completely tossed me out of my element. I wasn't thinking. I made sure that I was like somewhat inebriated, and it helped because I was just talking to people like, "Yeah, what's up? So what are you guys up to?" "Oh yeah, what's up?" And I didn't register the fact that I was talking to like some extremely high broadcasters, and I wasn't thinking about it. And I was like, this is what I need to do all the time. Like it just chat. I'm gonna let you guys know this right now. People at home, anyone listening to this or watching this, we're just normal people. I put on my socks one at a time. It's okay. I'm pretty sure Goop puts his on one at a time. It's the
only way to do it.
It's the only way to do it. Now pants, on the other hand, I put them both legs at the time.
Both step in, pull up.
Yeah, step in, pull up, and then I usually put on the belt, and then a fairy comes out of nowhere and he pulls it tighter. That's usually that's how it works.
Right.
No, Goop is a normal nerdy person. Yeah, hey, that's okay though. I'm okay with it. Like I'm a normal. Yeah, I'm a normal nerd person. I'm fine with that. I'm super jealous of your camera, by the way. Just to let you know that right now.
Oh, I just got that, man. So it was the community. Shout out to the Goop troop that helped me get that, because that would not have happened. I'd still be with the old C920. So
what camera did you end up going with?
It's a Sony A6000.
Okay,
so it's one of their mirrorless cams. It wasn't too bad. It's $350, and then the lens was like $75 because you have to get like the non-zoom lens.
Yeah, I have an A5000, which I love it. It's great, but it doesn't have a clean HDMI, so you can't use it. But I'm getting a Sony A6400. And
crisper than me.
I'm so excited.
It's so good.
It's mostly for photography though. I don't want to do it for this. I was thinking the only time I would use it is actually for the podcast.
That might work. Yeah, that makes sense.
Use it through my Elgato. That's probably the only way to do it. Because I'm not buying a Cam Link. There's no way.
Yeah, the Cam Link was so expensive.
$150. $150 my ass.
Yeah, I got lucky enough that I could swing that. Otherwise, I was just SOL.
Well, the Elgato HD60S works with that. All you need to do is just same thing as like a plug-in in a game system, which is super nice. Yeah. Okay, so I do want to, since we kind of got onto like hardware, you were talking about having a PlayStation in the beginning. So I'm assuming that your like hardware itself wasn't really a concern when you started off.
Yeah, not really. We didn't, so when we did YouTube, we didn't play PC games really.
Mm-hmm.
It was mostly console experiences because there's very few games that are PC exclusive. Right. It's just not a thing really. So we had already been through capture cards. We had been doing that for a long time. So when I started streaming, yeah, it was very much like I'm gonna play like a few PC games off like this, because I had a 960, like a GTX 960, like pretty bad graphics card.
Oh yeah.
So like I could kind of do Overwatch, right? Because it's not super bad, but everything else is mostly just off of a PlayStation with a capture card. As time went on, I finally got a new graphics card. I got a 1060, like the 6 gig. I still primarily use consoles and stuff because there's nothing worse than like things not responding or like, oh, my CPU is at 99%. Right. Why? So yeah. But yeah, in terms of hardware, yeah, we had an audio mixer. We had been using XLR mics for a long time. So most of that stuff was already like, we'd fumbled around with it enough that I kind of knew what I was doing. It was a matter of maybe upgrading things, but we already pretty much had a good idea.
No, I like that. My first camera was a camera and microphone combined, but the microphone like came off it was such. I probably could produce a better camera quality with a potato. It was horrific. It was like looking through like broken glasses. It was just god awful. But you know what though? It did the job. It did the job for like 2
start
months.
Somewhere.
Yeah, and then I got was it a Logitech 720, and it was horrible, but it was better than that potato camera I had. It was less of a potato. It was like a potato up. It was like, you know, it's like scalloped potatoes instead of like, you know, just a straight potato from the ground.
Exactly. Yeah, we're getting somewhere now. It's a meal, right?
It's a little upgrade, and then, you know, so I like the fact that at least I got some sort of somewhere with it, but it's crazy to me when people are like, you know, I'm gonna throw like $1,200 or $1,500 at it, and I'm like, how many? Like, what do you think? I just want to do this for a hobby. Cool, do that, but do you have the money? No, I'm gonna blow it on a credit card. I'm like, oh, don't do that.
Please don't do that. Yeah, no, don't do that. Like, there's no reason to. Like, I mean, I get like making an investment in a PC, sure, like that makes sense, whatever. Like going all out for like a camera that you'll only use for streaming. Like for me, this is my full-time job. Like I have over, you know, so many followers and I make all my money off this. So I was like, maybe now I can upgrade to like the super nice camera, but I was just using a Logitech thing for 2 years. So I mean, to each their own, but yeah, I agree. It's very weird to see people just like go all in really soon. And I'm like, do you know if you even like doing this yet? Like, are you just going to fall off in like 3 months? So yeah.
They're like, my parents decided, and I'm like, okay, whatever. Do your thing.
Cool.
Do your thing.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I mean, I like seeing people at least try to get their feet wet. It's crazy to me seeing them people jumping into the deep end at like square one. Like, oh yeah, I signed up yesterday. Like, oh, okay, cool for you. I'll see you in a couple of months.
Yeah.
Tell me how Roblox is in about 3 months.
Yeah. Yep.
So okay. So when it comes to the mental health, like the aspect of your stream, when it comes to that, did you find it very natural to start talking about it, or was it something that was really hard for you to kind of like come out with?
So for a long time, because I had ignored my mental health for a long period of time, I had a backlog of garbage to sift through.
Okay.
Some baggage. In terms of talking about it, it was easy. I've always been a really emotional person. Like I actually had a hard time making friends growing up as a male, like traditional, right? Because I was always like, hey man, I love you, like I appreciate you in my life, and my friends are like, cool man, like thanks, like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it was I was always like, I was very much giving, and I wanted to let my friends know that. So in terms of like talking about how I felt about myself or issues or things, I was always like an open slate. It I had to refine a lot of like how I spoke about things, and I still continue to do that to be sure I'm not like, you know, too abrasive or too like, you know, matter of fact about how I present like opinions on situations and stuff. But in terms of talking about it, it was, luckily it's not something I had to train myself to do.
Okay.
It came pretty natural. Yeah.
Look at that. And the thing is that at least it's not something that was like, it felt like you were like, you know what, I'm gonna just do this and see, I'm gonna throw everything at the wall and hopefully something sticks. Basically, you were kind of like, you know what, I can just do this, it'll be fine, it'll be okay, you know, like. And
Yeah.
now has it definitely helped you with your mental health as a whole, being able to just kind of discuss and say, hey guys, I've been having a real dog shit day, like let's talk about this, you know, like this is what's going on with me, what's going on with you, kind of thing.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. I've actually had like some of my own weird breakthroughs like on stream.
That's awesome.
And talking about stuff on stream keeps me accountable too. If somebody comes in and they're like, hey, I'm like in a really bad spot, I'm like, cool, like have you been taking care of yourself, or are you just moping in bed for the past 4 days? Like, are you, you know, like what steps are you taking? And then that forces me to check myself and be like, well, what am I doing? Like, am I practicing what I preach, or am I just kind of like, you know? So I'm sitting here like I have an energy drink, but I also like, I tell people like, you got to nourish your body and like drink actual water and like have actual food. And so, you know, there's a lot of that where like me actively talking about it reinforces it in my own mind. But yeah, I mean, I've had my own like breakthroughs where like when I went to TennoCon and I met Steve, I don't know if you're familiar with who Steve is. He's the lead, I believe the lead director for Warframe. Like he oversees most of all of the behind the scenes stuff, but meeting him, I was very nervous. I obviously am an untraditional looking male, you know, tight jeans, very colorful shirts, pink hair, long hair, you know, and I embraced my look, but for a long time I didn't. And so when I was meeting him, I was super nervous, and I was talking about that on stream, and everyone's like, well, why are you nervous? Like, why are you say, you know, because there are some people, and I was like, look, I just think that I feel emasculated when I meet or am around traditional looking men with like facial hair or like better, like, you know, muscle tone than me. And I was like, oh, I have dad issues. Like live on stream, I was just like, oh, because of X things that happened in my past, I have issues being friends with men in this context. And chat was like, wow. So it definitely like just talking about stuff, just venting, right? Just throwing things out there. I've been like, oh damn, like that's my life right now. Like, and that's not a bad thing. I've actually enjoyed that. And it's cool to see that come from other people too. And
absolutely,
you know, so it's yes. The answer is yes.
Yeah, and the biggest thing I think is being able to just say it makes you, you know, put yourself out there. And it's one thing that not everyone wants to do. Not everyone wants to put their full self out there. There's stuff about me that I just don't. It's just not stream. It's not stream related, so I kind of just kill it at the door. But like in general, like I'm a pretty open person. Like I'm not gonna give you my address or my social security number, but I'll tell you how I feel about stuff. Like, like I told you yesterday, I was having a shitty day because I had my stuff going on, and it was like, this might not happen today. I'm just gonna let you guys know that. Like the podcast could have not happened today just because of what was going on my outside life. Not a big, not a huge deal now because everything's squared away and like solid, but at that moment, I was having like a straight panic attack. Not a good thing. I'm not someone that likes to have panic attacks at work. And I was having one. I was like, all right, well, I'm going to go home and like watch Game of Thrones and hopefully that'll solve everything. And it did.
Right. Yeah.
I went home, ate a bunch of pizza and watched Game of Thrones for like 3 hours. And then I was like, you know what? I'm much better now. Like I'm in a much better place. Did some editing and I was like, got my mind off of everything. I'm cool now. Like, but it took that like 3 hours of just like self, do my own shit, that it helped me. It definitely helped me.
Right.
Because
Right.
otherwise I
Yeah.
probably would have been freaking out today too. So
Yeah. And sometimes, yeah, people indulge those negative thoughts and then it just gets worse. So,
right.
yeah. Yeah. No, that's been there.
Yeah. So when you like kind of get to that point of like off track, I guess, what do you usually use to bring yourself back? Is it something that you tell yourself, or is it something that you kind of like have to bring yourself back to square one, I guess?
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, especially lately with for me, I've had a lot of life changes, and
Absolutely.
it's been easy to definitely, yeah, indulge in those negative feelings, or because a lot of us grow up with the idea that like beating ourselves up or feeling down is like normal, and so it becomes comfortable to like live in that world. So I have a checklist of things that I do to try to keep myself in place. So I have 3 checklists. One of them is a list of accomplishments that I've had over the past, usually it's 12 months, but whatever. So that's, getting sponsored by X brand, like, being sponsored with SteelSeries, being sponsored with OPC, Warframe partnership, like that stuff. Right.
Yeah.
Another thing would be a list of like traits that I actually like about myself. Of course, these lists are made when I'm in a better mood, but the second list is things I like about myself. How, I like how tall I am. Like, it's something I actually enjoy. I like my hair. I like how like I can articulate my thoughts pretty well. And then I have a list of people that care about me in my life. And I make that list when I'm in a good mindset, so I can't be cynical about it.
Right.
That list kind of helps to check me and break the cycle of like beating myself up. Or on Twitch, we can compare ourselves to other casters and go like, well, they have more than me, or they're better than me, or they're this. Yeah. And so that list gives me like grounding, like here are the actual things you've accomplished and the people you've impacted.
Yeah.
Aside from that, I have, since I'm a dad, I kind of took, when you have a young child and they're crying or they're hungry or whatever, they're crying, and you got to figure out like, okay, like you don't have a dirty diaper. Like, are you tired? Do you hurt? Like, because they can't articulate it. Right. So when I'm in a bad mood, I've kind of taken that list and I've molded it to my life. So I'm like, okay, I'm in a bad mood. Have I eaten today? Have I like had water, or am I just taking in soda?
Yeah.
Like, have I cleaned up my room a little bit? Have I like done any, like, have I, brushed my hair, washed my face, gotten out of the house? Like, there's a checklist of things. Like, when I see that I'm in a bad mood, I go through that checklist. And the idea is that I think the checklist has 7 things, and I need to do more than half of them if I'm specifically in a bad mood.
I gotcha.
So there are things that I have implemented to put in place to be sure that like I am in a healthier mindset, or the healthiest mindset possible. We all have bad days. Yeah. Depression, things like that stem from like usually like, chemical imbalances in our bodies or things like that, stuff that's out of our control. But there are things that we can use to break those negative cycles. And so it's taken me months and months and months of practice to sort of figure out like what works for me, but that's what I do. Yeah.
No, I love it. My biggest thing is, for me at least, I try to like, I do self-evaluation, but then I kind of like to jump out of my own body, and then like I'm like, all right, well, let's see what I can do while I'm kind of in this funk. If I'm in a funk, I like to go try to run, or I try to like get out of the house, because usually if I'm in a bad mood, it's because I'm sitting still and I'm not doing anything. So if I can like go clean, or like go out and like run, or just or just go to the store, get a drink and come home. Like, even just that, going to Dunkin' Donuts and get coffee. Sometimes that's like the biggest thing. And then I come home and I'm like, okay, so why was I mad again? And I don't even remember half the time of why I was upset or anything. It just kind of like depletes. And I'm like, okay, so anyways, what was I doing? And then I just go back to what I was doing. And it's for me, I don't have like a set list right now, but I kind of like that, and I might steal that. I'm not gonna lie to you, because it's definitely, I think that's worth it. That's definitely a good tactic.
Yeah, I mean, and what you do is part of that. As long as you could break that cycle of, if you could get your mind off of whatever negative thing it is, like, so absolutely.
Yeah, I like that. I'm probably one of the only over 300-pound men that I know that like to run, so that's quite fun to watch. If people are like at the gym, this is the look of the gym. People like see me and I'll get on the treadmill and I'll start clicking the little speed up, and they're like, "Wait a minute, is he running? Oh shit, he's
How
actually
fast can he
like,
go?
is that a rhino running?" And all you hear is but on the treadmill, and people are like stopping, looking, because it's not natural for me to be. And I stop and I'm like, all right, I'm good now.
That's good though, and that's
Yeah.
something I'm like, you should take pride in. I'm glad it seems like you do. So hell yeah, man.
That the running thing, man. I did a 5K. It was a color run. I'll tell you right now, don't do a color run when it's super duper hot out, because the color doesn't come out of anything at all. Yeah. It's just horrific. Like that pink in your hair, I had that like in my belly button. I had that like I like crevices. I was like taking off clothes. I'm like, is it stained? Like what? It was in my beard. It was just everywhere, and it was.
You live that life.
It was really ridiculous. People were like hitting me. Like I had a girl hit me in the face with color, and I was like half blind for some of the run. And I'm like, this is safe. This is a good way to go.
Yeah, this is fine. It's okay. Yeah.
Running over bridges. And I'm like, if I die because I like dumped off the bridge on accident because I couldn't see, I'm like, I'm blaming this lady. Like on my tombstone because this lady. Rip color lady. Thank you. This color lady threw pink color in my face, and I'm half blind. Thank you, lady. Appreciate it. Shout out to her for blinding me for 30 seconds. Yeah, it's bad. Okay, so when it comes to streaming, what do you think one common misconception is that you've been seeing?
There's always the controversy surrounding like the push to partner. I don't, having goals is dope. Like go for them. Yeah. Have realistic goals and then have sub goals, right? So like, you're here is whatever goal long term. Have sub goals, and those like mini goals should try to be things that you actually have control over, and
Absolutely.
not like numbers that you can't influence. But the biggest thing I fell into is once I got partnered, because I got partnered and I applied, I got denied, and I applied again, and I was like, yeah, I'll probably get denied again, like whatever. I got partnered and I was like, what do I do now? Like, what do I work for? I'd worked for it for so long that I was like, I don't have anything in the horizon. Like I have no idea. And so the biggest thing is like partnership does not change your broadcast. I was making enough money to go full time when I was an affiliate. Like partnership doesn't. Companies are getting smarter. I had the misconception that partnership was, if you get partnered, companies are like, let's go, let's get you on board. Awesome. Yeah. That's not how that works. Like the companies are getting wiser. There are more partners every day. And brands want to partner with people who like exemplify the same traits as what they have, right? So it's not like, oh, you have a check mark, let's go. Yeah. So the idea is that like when you're a partner, things get easier, and it doesn't. If nothing else, when you're a partner, things get harder, because at that point you have to start making your own like life goals. You can't just kind of go like, well, that partner is the end game. Yeah. So yeah, the idea that like you get a paycheck or you get a bigger cut or you get more money, no, like most of that stuff doesn't happen, especially after the partner representative program like went away. Like partners used to have reps that they could go to and be like, hey, I'm making so much money, like can we like re-look at my contract? That doesn't exist. So there's a lot of stuff that like, but it's like go for partner, dope. Like yes, have goals. But don't like hinge your worth on those goals, because if you sacrifice the quality of your broadcast to be a partner, then was it worth it? Right. And I definitely did for a long time. Like I was like, I'm a Warframe partner. Like we're out here with 120 people. I'm burning out on the game, but like we got numbers. So awesome. Yeah. And then I hit partner and I was like, I don't want to play Warframe anymore. Yeah. And things imploded. So yeah, the biggest misconception with broadcasting is just like the goals that are dictated to us by Twitch. Like you should go for affiliate, you should go for partner. Like, okay, you can, like, it's okay, but you should definitely take pride in your cast and like have your own subsequent things. For me, big goals were raising money for charity events or things like that. And those were always more important. So That's the biggest one. Yep.
I like that. Yeah. The one thing that I wish that they would possibly do is just raise up affiliates like requirements. That's my biggest thing. I don't. I mean, and that's me saying that with the fact that that's how I got mine, was the fact that I was like
Sure.
4 people coming in chatting with me, and then eventually they're like, oh yeah, here's affiliate status. And I'm like, cool, awesome, thanks. But like, that makes me want to work harder. You know what I mean? Like it's such an odd jump that it's like, oh, you need 3 viewers to 75 viewers. It's just such an odd. I feel like it should be more, but that's just me. But I think it's also Papa Amazon wanting more money.
Yeah, I mean, with them, they're like, you can make us cash now.
Yep.
And, you know, so there's 2 sides, right? Where it's like, okay, you know, you can now make money. Like, you can actually like take the time to, you know, if you get, I don't know, $100 in subscribers a month, you know, you can filter that back into your broadcast. Absolutely. And it can still be just a hobby. I've actually had people say that, like, I wish there was something between affiliate and partner. My answer is always why, like, because you need Twitch to tell you like what goals you should go for. You know what I mean? So yeah, I personally, like, there's a reason that Twitch as a business did it and things like that. But
absolutely.
But if I was very much, when I started, I was like, wow, like, because I was streaming before affiliateship came out. Same, and I got it day one, and I was like, cool. And it was great to have. But for a while I rode the wave of like, oh, well, like, I've been doing it for so many years and I have way more followers than these people, so they should maybe have to wait. And then I was like, that's shitty. Like, just do whatever. Like, you guys enjoy your life, you know? So but it's complex.
For the longest time, and I'm gonna be honest and admit this, for the longest time I used to compare myself to everyone. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna be the next Lyric, and I'm like, I'm not Lyric though. Stop saying that. Like, just stop. Like, I came to the realization, I think, was because I was trying to be like every other streamer, and then it took me stopping being on broadcast and just being a viewer to say, why the hell do I want to do that? That's not fun. So like this podcast was how this podcast was born. I was like, what do I want to see on stream that isn't normally on stream? And it's like, I want to see a podcast that features people. I'm like, but I don't see that many of those. I'm gonna do that. And that's how it happened. That's literally it. And I was like, you know what? F it. I don't care if it doesn't do well. Whatever, I'm still going to do it, and I'm going to enjoy myself doing it. And that was it. And it was like, I was pulling people out of my ass. Like, the first 2 people I pulled on this podcast were like people that I'd never talked to before, that I pulled from like Instagram and Twitter, and they were like, yeah, I'll be on. I was like, okay, let's do it. Like, I don't know you, but that's fine. And I'm still friends with them today. Like, I still talk to them today. And it was just because I like randomly was like, you guys want to be on this podcast? And they're like, yeah, sure. Okay, cool. I have I have an hour to kill. I was like, oh yeah. So, have fun with it. Just if you enjoy doing stupid stuff, do it.
Yeah, don't try to do what other people have done, because that market is already filled, and the odds are you're going to be doing it worse, or perceived as doing it worse, as you know. I mean, like, that's the mental health thing. Like, the way that I do it is maybe unique. Don't know. You know, for me, like, and it also, you know, makes me a target in a lot of ways. But, you know, when I started doing this, it was definitely a departure from me wanting to do what everybody else had done, and me being like, you know what, I'm going to embrace like this side of myself that I haven't really put on stream before, and you know, there's a duality to it, but I don't regret it, because I would say by and large, like, nobody does anything the way that I do it on Twitch, and I'm not like super famous, but like I take a lot of pride in the way that I do stuff. So yeah, taking pride in like having fun with the way that you do stuff. I mean, for sure, always try to innovate and get better, but yeah, so.
Yeah, I think people focus too much on the numbers, and they don't say, but are you really having fun though? Like, you enjoying yourself? Do you like grinding on Fortnite when you know you suck at it? No? Okay. Play something else. Play something you enjoy playing. Like, it's just how it is, you know? There's like, I'll tell you this, Just Dance is not a super heavily saturated, populated game, but I have a ton of fun playing it because I like to dance, and people don't know that about me, but I really like to dance. I don't do it often in public, but I'll do it on stream because it's just me and a camera. But if I'm in person, you're gonna see the like most shy, quiet person in the world when it comes to dancing. That is not happening. I promise you, unless I'm super drunk. If I'm super, get like 4 shots of me, and I'll dance super hard for you, and it'll be fantastic. And you record it on, put it on Twitter, and we'll get like 1 million likes on it. It'll be great. Yes, it'll be
of course.
Yeah. But no, in person, I'm just super quiet, and being on stream, I'm like,
different.
Yeah, it's so hard. That being like at TwitchCon is a shell shock for me sometimes, because I have like friends that are very gregarious to the people that they don't even know, and I'm gregarious to the people I know, but when it comes to people I don't know, I'm like, okay, so I'm gonna stand over here, I'm gonna be in that corner chilling. I'm a wallflower. It's super fun.
Small talk is uncomfortable, and you don't know how to introduce yourself. Right. Once you know somebody and you're like, hey, like punch on the arm and like joking around, it's easier. No, I'm right there. Yup.
So I have like a whole list of things I can ask, and I'm just like trying to sift through them right now.
No, you're okay.
So when it comes to, you better believe you'd still be dancing. Yeah, I'll dance on the Uber ride home. I will if they have a sunroof or a moonroof, I'm going out it and going woo at least once. Once or twice I have to. It's the inner white girl in me. I'm sorry. I apologize.
The inner white girl.
Her name is Emily, and I apologize. She has a name, I promise. We've personified her through the Go XLR. So.
Somebody feeding you shots like, let Emily out.
Let her out. I'm like, what's up, guys? Oh, jeez. Here she comes. So anyways, the biggest thing I wanna ask you, it's one of the biggest things. When it comes to becoming a partner, what are some things that you've noticed as becoming a partner that you would like to see affiliates try to like work towards, that it's not just like work harder on your stream? It's like, is there things that people don't really talk about that you see that they could do?
So, because there's all the, there's, especially with like the advent of like stream coaches, like all of this is very new, trying to coach people through it. There's a lot of stuff to remember about broadcasting. If you're new, if you're an affiliate, like it doesn't matter. I usually have like 3 to 4 like key pieces of advice. The first piece is like, not everybody makes it.
Right.
Like, just temper the expectation, and makes it, I guess, is like, what are you looking for out of your broadcast experience? Right. But the second piece is like talk all the time. Like, walking into a dead stream is like a nightmare. And even with some affiliates, if they're having a bad night, if they're frustrated, whatever may be going on, like I will check out a lot of my friends. Like, I don't care if you're a partner. I don't give partners more attention than I give affiliates. But if I do walk into your chat and I'm like, what's going on here? I'm out. Like, I'm not even going to say hi, because like you entertain me, you know what I mean? Right. Like, I'm not here to entertain you. So that's the biggest thing. And I see that a lot, is just finding out how to make that work, and how, narrate your gameplay, cause it's okay to build an audience that, like, lurkers are a thing. So it's a lot of people get like the 15 to 25 viewers, but breaking past that requires that you really are engaging heavily.
Absolutely.
And so, the other thing, I mean, for affiliates, like pushing towards partner, is like, just make friends. Like, I don't like, networking is like such a weird word, but like, just love your friends. And for me, it's easy, right? It's easy for me to go, hey, I was thinking about so-and-so person today. I just wanted to let you know I appreciate you, and like send that tweet out, or like be in their chat and like just like love on them. It's harder for some people because, we're all different, right? Absolutely. But the biggest thing is like, support people you believe in, and that does come back to you, like, eventually. And supporting is sometimes just being in their chat and hanging out, and making time for that's hard. I get like, again, when I was streaming, I was working 10 hours a day. I had a kid. Like, making time for people, even if I like popped in on mobile, I was like, my kid's eating, but I just want to say, like, you know,
What's
how are you
up?
doing?
Yeah.
Exactly. Like people like take that to heart. And so it, you know, don't network, don't raid people, don't this. Okay. We're going to segue into the next piece of advice, like expectations, man. like don't raid people or host people or expect things from people. Like
Right.
do stuff for people because you want to do stuff for them. And that energy comes back. But like if you expect things like, oh, I'm in his chat all the time and he's never in mine, like nobody owes you that. Nobody owes
Right.
you anything. So you know, I think and expectations for me was always like, oh, I had like 70 viewers yesterday, so like when I stream tonight I'll probably have around 70. And then if you have 50, then you're like, I must be beaten up on myself now because I must be it's like, no, it's like Friday and people are at the club tonight, so you have 20 fewer people than normal or whatever, you know, like so like just the only expectation you should have for your cast is to like put out good energy or whatever, like that may be something you can control, but like cut out expectations for things beyond your control.
Right.
And that if people are coming in and having a good time, it will work out.
Yeah.
But it just, yeah.
And I think the biggest thing is, yeah, if you're like trying to give a gift to someone and you're expecting them to give you a gift back in that exact moment, then you're gonna be disappointed. You're gonna be it's just be that way. Just be like, you know what, I'm doing this thing because I really, really love you and you're awesome and you're just a good person. And that's it. That's all. That's it. That's all I want. Yeah, like I use this analogy. It's like when you were in, you know, middle school, or not, it's not middle school. Why would I say middle school? But like when you were in like preschool, right, or in kindergarten, and you wanted to share crayons with someone, you walked up and you're like, I have this set of crayons. Do you have this set of crayons? No. Okay. I'll share my crayons with you, and then you can share your crayons with me, and we'll just like intermingle our crayons, and then eventually you guys are best friends.
Right.
Like, oh, you like comic books and I like comic books. What comic books do you like? Okay, let's talk about that. Oh, now we're best friends. Awesome. Like 20 years later, we're still friends. Cool. Like that's just, you have to use that mentality. Like you're in preschool and you wanted to share, you know, your crayons with someone. Just do that. Just do exactly what you did when you're in preschool. Did you want? Do you also like ho-hos? I like ho-hos. Awesome, sweet. I have a ho-ho. I'll give you one. Cool. You didn't expect anything back from that.
Yep. It's like, it's crazy how many people, like because and it sucks, and it, you know, but like I can tell, like I don't do post stream shout outs as often as I used to, and stuff like that, because there's an influx of people that will, you know, host or rate or whatever that they will stop coming around without that sort of like giving back thing. And that sucks to like vet people in that way, but it's like I have too many friends on this platform to be giving to people that don't align with like who I want in my life and to support. And so, yeah, it's definitely one of those things where I for me, it was like, if, you know, you are hosting me and then I see you disappear or whatever, because I'm not giving it back, then it's like, you know, it gets a little weird. So yeah, like having that expectation gets a little weird. But there's also, that lends itself to talking about, you know, being just like a human, right? And not, you know, like if somebody comes in my chat and here is like, oh, here's 10 gifted subs, I'm not like, oh my god, I have to go return the gifted subs. Like it is a give and take, right? It like generosity is just generosity. And so if you start practicing that early as a broadcaster, it gets easier, because if you start expecting give and take from people, then, you know, it starts to like breed this weird jealousy, or you're in someone's broadcast and you see them get a bunch of generosity and you're like, I wish I had that. It becomes so toxic.
Right.
So cutting out that expectation and just being happy to have people in your life is like, it makes Twitch easy. It makes it really easy.
Well, and I think the one thing people like, they come into a chat, they're like, oh, this person has 20 people. Okay, well, this person has 50 people. But what if those 50 people aren't talking because they're just hanging out and they're just, you know, they want to watch, but they're just hanging out. They're no more or less important than the 20 people in the other chat. It's the same thing. Like,
Yeah, supporting people with bigger numbers and stuff like that.
I honestly, there's only probably 2 or 3, like, I wouldn't say big name streamers, and for people that are listening, I'm using air quotes, big name streamers that I watch. Most of the people I watch are people that I'm extremely good friends with, and I like hanging out with their chat. There's viewers that, and like friends of mine that follow my chat or follow my channel, and they'll come and hang out with me. And then, you know what I do? I return the favor and I go and hang out with their chat because I just enjoy seeing them again. Even if I'm not playing a game, I'll listen to them talk as they play Overwatch or they play whatever game, because whatever, it doesn't matter. Like, I just genuinely want to share the experience of hanging out in their chat, and it's no big deal, you know?
Exactly.
And eventually, yeah, it'll come around. You know, if you put enough positivity out there, it'll boomerang back to you. It just might take a bit, you know? And people don't, I feel like people don't have that time in their head. They're like, but no, just let it sit, let it wait.
If I host them this week, maybe they'll host me by the end of the week. Like, no. Like, I have so many friends, like some of my best friends never host me.
Right.
and as you get bigger on Twitch, you make so many friends that like, you're like, I don't know how to support everyone. And that's okay.
Right.
So yeah,
you can't be subscribed to every person. Otherwise you're going to be broke.
Yep, I've been broke because of subs before.
There's sometimes where what I do is I influx them. So there's certain people that I've been subbed to them so long that I just stay subbed to them just because I'm friends with them. But then there's people that I flux out of their chat. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna stop subbing to them. It doesn't mean I don't love them and I don't care for them and I don't want them to grow and be awesome. It's just I don't have the time to jump into the chat. So I feel like I can change and put that towards someone else and then eventually come back to them. And I still talk to them. Like I'm still talking to everyone on Twitter. That's the other thing. People, if you don't understand this, Twitter's a huge freaking thing. Do that thing.
Be on Twitter. And not just going live tweets. No. Just like be interested. Well, you don't even have to be interesting, but like just exist. It's usually okay.
I post a lot of GIFs on a lot of people's freaking, like, I almost don't ever talk unless I have a certain point to put. Usually I express my emotion through a GIF like 95% of the time, and the other 5% I usually throw something at them like, hey, that's really cool. Like, but it's mostly just like wow gifts. That's my 95% of what I do. It's just so good. Yeah, Twitter is like I wake up and I'm on Twitter, and I go to bed and I'm on Twitter. It's horrible. My phone tells me like, hey, just so you know, stupid, you've been on your phone like 9 hours today. You also worked 10 hours. How the hell did you do that? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what I did. Thank you, iPhone, for telling me how much of an addiction I have to my iPhone. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, it's important to be friends with other broadcasters, but not just in their chat, but Absolutely. Like supporting them, tweeting at them. And like as of lately, the past few months, it's been like people popping like, hey, I saw my friend retweeted you, or I saw my friend tweet this out. Like, I figured I'd come check you out or whatever. Like, yeah, it is. And like I said, you don't have to do anything like super crazy or super fancy, but like exist on Twitter and use it for more than just going live or wrap up tweets. Like if you can have opinions and things that other people can resonate with, it gives them incentive to like want to go talk to you. And yeah.
Well, and I think my biggest thing when I first started was that I was like, I'm just gonna be on Twitch, and if you don't find me, I don't care. And like that was my whole. It was such a toxic, stupid thing I was thinking, and then I was like,
I was the same way.
Yeah, I was. Well, and I think it was just because I didn't want to have other shit to deal with, like. Going live tweets weren't a thing for me. It was just I'm live, like be there, and it was 7 days a week. Me. Yes, I would. And the thing is, I was streaming at the time 7 days a week for like 6 hours a day, and I'll tell you right now, horrifying, just horrifying. I don't even know why I was doing it. I don't know what the hell I was thinking.
Like a bad idea.
It was a horrible idea. Yeah, play Rocket League for 6 hours a day. Tell me how much you want to hurt yourself. Like how much you want to punch yourself for that. Like, and I look at him and I'm like, what was I doing? And then I like took the step back. I mean, that was horrible.
That's a new broadcaster tip.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of like being live more doesn't equate to more success.
Hell no.
No. So
No.
yeah, I actually know a lot of people that were like, I'm live 7 days a week for 8 hour on 12-hour streams, or
Horrible.
you're insane.
You're
It's
nuts.
bad for you. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you also have a life? Do you enjoy like sitting for?
Yeah.
How badly does your butt hurt from sitting so long? Please tell me.
Bed stores.
Please. Hey, how many bed sores do you have because you don't move? That's horrifying.
It's a nightmare.
Yeah, I used to. It was literally for me. It was wake up, go to work until like 4 o'clock, get home, shower, eat, get on stream at like 7, and then get off at like 2 a.m. Do it all over again every single day.
Yep.
And then Saturday, Sunday is meant to be like my family days now, and it still was back then. But the problem is back then I would like get done with my family stuff, and I would just go live at like 8:30, and I would go to like 2 still.
Yeah.
It was horrifying.
Just every spare second.
Yeah. I lost friendships. It was bad.
Mm-hmm.
It was bad.
Well, I mean, there's something, burnout exists because a lot of the times people don't have anything outside of their broadcast.
Right.
Like, do you like to paint? Do you like to run? Do you like to like list, like even just like listening to music or whatever? Like, yeah. So when you start putting like any free time you have broadcast, like it's really easy to hate it.
Yep.
It's so
Absolutely.
easy. So
yeah, I did 7 days a week for almost a full year before I was like, and it was not constructive 6 hours of streaming. It was like me just staring at the computer, hoping that someone would come and hang out with me. That was it.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely had people come in and hang out, but it was like a revolving door. They come in, they leave. They come in, they leave, and it was just
they never stick around.
No, and it was because I was not entertaining. It was not. And I'm being 100% with you. I was not entertaining at all. I was just playing a lot of video games. But taking that time off to go to, be a human being for once, it helped. And then I came back and I'm like, wait a minute. I have people that come and like hang out for more than 4 or 5 minutes. Holy crap, I figured it out. Like it was just, it was like, oh,
figured it.
Yeah.
Oh, I have to entertain. Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah. We all have been there though. Yeah. Where we're just like, oh, wait, hold on.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Hold on. Yeah. It was just, so now, 3 days a week, and the other 4 days is like I make YouTube videos. I can chill and relax. I can go take photos and be outside and breathe fresh air for once and not sit next to a computer and sweat my ass off. So there's that.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. The world exists out there. Yeah.
I wish I would have told myself that. 20 something year old me, I wish I would have told myself that.
Yeah.
That's
the podcast though. Like that's what it's there for now, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's I think it's telling everyone that it was like me or is like me back in the day. Yeah, stuck in that rut. Like there is a way to get out of that rut. You just have to figure it out. And sometimes it means getting off a stream. You might not. Here's the cold hard fact. It's not for everyone. It's not. And I wish it was. But if it was for everyone, then everyone would be doing it. And everyone would be successful and be, the next ninja. I hate using that terminology. Be the next ninja.
Cringiest. That's what every parent says to their 12-year-old.
Terminology is horrible. It's horrible. But anyways, I digress.
Yeah.
The biggest thing is that people, not everyone's on TV. But here's the thing, I'm going to use this example. Audrey Hepburn was an actress, okay? She was super famous, and everyone loved her, and everyone knew her. But guess what? She got older, she stopped acting, and now there's, Anne Hathaway. Everyone loves her. And, it's just... people get older. They stop doing, they'll stop streaming. Eventually, Lyric will stop streaming. Eventually, Ninja will stop streaming. Eventually, Tim the Tatman will stop streaming. Eventually, Goop will stop streaming. But then there's an open directory to fill. So are you going to fill it, or are you going to just sit on your ass and not do anything about it? Right. Best time to start was yesterday, but the second time, the best time is to start right now. If you're not ready to start, like, what are you doing?
Yep.
And that's for everyone.
Starting appropriately, right? And doing and not burning yourself out or
No.
not. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I agree 100%.
And I think the biggest thing is that people don't know what to play. Just play whatever you want to play. Within reason,
right.
But play whatever you want to play. If you think that you want to play Fortnite and you think you're that good, then take your footage and put it on YouTube, and eventually someone will find it.
Exactly. Like
diversify.
If your favorite game ever is F-Zero on the SNES, like, and you just want to stream this, like, maybe not a great idea until you're a little bit more established, because nobody's looking for this, right?
No.
But also, like, going to be the new, like, going to play Apex and be like the new best Apex players, like, probably also unlikely.
That's a horrible
even though
idea.
Apex is great. So there's a lot to be said about, like, you do have to put yourself into the right kind of spot, but for the most part, there's like a lot of wiggle room. If you're not feeling something, like, Dark Souls has a pretty active community, so if you're like, I'll give that a shot, okay, and you don't like it, don't keep playing it,
right?
Like, that doesn't make sense. But if you love it, awesome. So there's a lot that goes into it, but like, never play stuff you don't like to play. But also don't be scared to, like, try new stuff and then not like it. That's okay.
That was me with Dark Souls. I was like, oh, this is gonna be a great idea. 3 hours in Dark Souls, I was like, I'm breaking this controller today. This controller is gonna be in half today. Please, for the love of all that is good in this world, get this controller out of my hand. I was just like, you know what, done. I'm not doing this anymore. God,
I love Dark Souls so much.
I'll watch it. Like, there's a couple streamers that I'm good friends with that play it, like, religiously, and they just enjoy playing it. I'll go watch them because it's funny. Or just like Bloodborne. Bloodborne is another one. I'll watch you people play Bloodborne. I, on the other hand, will never play it because I'm horrible at that game. Horrible. I don't understand. People played I have a friend that played the Wasted Skin, like, part where you start with nothing but, like, a pair of underwear on, and I'm like, why do you put yourself through that? And he's like, because I enjoy it. I'm like, okay, go for it, dude. Whatever you want to do, go for it. You do you, boo boo. Like, I can't tell you any otherwise.
Yep.
Okay, so you were saying Apex. Do you think that it's now gonna is it the Fortnite killer?
There's no such thing as a Fortnite killer. Because as much as everybody wants to go, like, battle royale games are all the same, like, that's not. That's like saying any game with any multiplayer. Like, Splatoon is the same as Call of Duty. Like, that's not, you know what I mean? So like, Apex fills a really good gap where, Fortnite's still third person, it still is building, it's still accessible for kids. Like, it's not going away. Like, that's not the case. People who have been playing Fortnite and are maybe a little burnt out are going to go play Apex, and Respawn is such a good development team, and Titanfall 2 was a phenomenal game. So I'm glad that they just kind of dropped this and were like, here you go. And the game feels great. It's first person, which is drastically different, with heroes similar to Overwatch. Like, it is its own really unique thing, but there's a lot of people who get sick when they play FPSs, or they don't have, like, the reaction time. So is it going to kill Fortnite? Hell no. Like, Fortnite's not going away. Is Fortnite going to take a backseat for a while? Yeah. And Epic will have to innovate and figure out how to make that game stand out even further, or do cool things with it. And that's okay, because competition is what, like, if Fortnite didn't exist, Apex wouldn't.
Right.
Like, it's just how it is, right? And without Apex, Fortnite won't get better. So.
Right. Well, and it's something to be said that Fortnite decided, hey, we're gonna, like, Epic Games is like, you know what, we're gonna talk to Marshmello and we're gonna have him do a concert on our on every server at the same time, and everyone can interact and be there at the same time. What?
That's cool.
What? Apex, you got anything? Oh no, okay, you weren't started yet. Gotcha. All right, cool. Keep moving then.
Yeah, you didn't exist yet. Yeah.
Well, and that's a great, like, I didn't even know about it. I didn't know about this whole concert thing until after it happened, and I was watching the YouTube video of the concert, and I was like, what? I'm like, what did they... all right, cool.
Excuse me? Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, well, I mean, that's kind of awesome. And then they did it, and I was like, okay, so let's see what they can do next. Like, I don't really play Fortnite anymore, but I'll watch their development because it's kind of interesting. Like you said, the competition breeds super big growth because people need to fight to be the top person, eventually.
Yeah, I mean,
eventually, Apex will do something that'll combat that, and then they'll go back and forth for a bit, and it's okay. That's a good thing,
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I mean, like in chat they say like shot Fortnite in the foot, and like I don't think it does, because relevance is the name of the game. Anything new would have shot Fortnite in the foot, right? Like anything that is good and new, and if Apex wasn't free, it wouldn't do as well,
That's the key.
You got to bite each other's styles a little bit, but like if when PUBG was out, Fortnite came out, and Fortnite was crazy,
right?
And then so there it's about preference, it's about relevance and innovation. So no, I Fortnite is doing just fine. Apex is doing just like. People at Epic are still sitting in their Scrooge McDuck vaults of gold coins. Like they are fine, right? They will figure it out and they'll be okay. Like, did they get hurt? No. Like the directory on Twitch is still top 5, I think.
Yeah. They're again, fighting, I think, second and third right now.
Mm-hmm. So. Yeah. So they're both great games in their own right. It's not. Yeah. I follow the development of Fortnite pretty closely. I enjoy the game, but I don't play it. But I just because of like what happens next, like what comes out next, because
absolutely,
yeah, there's a lot there's cynicism about like battle royales, and like, oh, I'm so sick of battle royales, but at the same time it's like battle royales have existed since Halo 2. Like
absolutely,
it just wasn't called that, right? And it had 8 people instead of 100. Like it's King of the Hill or any of those games like are what got us to here. So it's never going to go away. It's going to innovate, and things are going to get interesting. So,
right.
Yeah.
Well, once someone makes a show, a nice web show about Fortnite, then I'll say that they're on the same level as Halo, and then we'll have a real conversation about Halo versus Fortnite.
Yeah, well, I would dare to say that Halo has a lineage that will and Halo has a story, and Fortnite is they're popular for vastly different reasons. I still have me some Halo. I wish Halo were still good. But yeah,
it's crazy to see people that followed like the Red vs. Blue stuff still like watching Red vs. Blue today. Like it's on Netflix. Like you could watch it right now if you want to, and it's freaking. I love that entire series up until like probably the last 2 seasons. Then we're just all right.
Yeah. Red versus Blue was always interesting because I knew of it, but I never watched it super hard. But it contributed a lot to like the Halo fandom, which is so weird because I'm sure it was when its inception was just some fever dream, weird drug induced pitch, and then it was like, well, here we are.
Yep.
But yeah, so I mean, like Apex is taken over Twitch because it's new. It's new absolutely. And it's free. Anyone like I have it on PS4. I don't even play it on PC. I play it on PS4. Boot it up. Cool, easy, free. It's not surprising at all. It's a great development team. It's a good game. There should be zero surprises that it is where it is, because especially as broadcasters, like, we always want to go, oh, that's a cool new thing. People are liking it right now. Of course it's popular on Twitch.
Yeah. So. I would like to see Apex on the Switch so I can play it whenever the hell I want. That'd be friggin' awesome. So I could sit on my couch and play and not have like my computer, or sit at my computer or sit at my Xbox.
If I could get motion controls like the gyro controls, like what Fortnite has, yeah, I love gyro. I'm so in. Yeah, I'd be in there. I'd play that. Yeah, because like I love mouse and keyboard, but like I don't like to sit at my PC. No. But then with controller, like I always like over aim and stuff like that. Yeah.
I turned my controller's settings super high, so it feels like I'm on a mouse and keyboard at like 8,000 DPI. I'm just like, fuck it, I don't care. Yeah. My pro controller is like, what are you doing? Oh, this is bad. This is a bad day. I'm like, yeah, no, get ready.
Yeah, let me just aim left and then 180.
You swing the whole map. I have my mom comes into my office and she'll play with my, like, she does like her bills and stuff on my desktop, and she's like, why is the mouse so fast? I'm like, you can't handle the extreme speeds of 8,000 DPI running through. I'm like, Mom, you don't even know. Yeah,
she's just like, damn, I didn't ask for this. I just wanted to know.
I birthed this. God, please. Is it too late? I'm like, no, Mom, it's not too late.
Yeah.
You can kick me out today. It's cool, but you won't.
Bet.
She should come kick the door in. She just watch it. That's crazy. That's the craziest part. It's like I have family members who, because I post stuff on. I have a Facebook page that I use, and my family members have liked my Facebook page. So like my great aunt will like comment on stuff, and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like,
Yep.
my aunt, she's like 75 years old. She's like, you're doing a great job, honey. And I'm like, thanks, auntie. Love you too.
Yeah.
Like, please.
It's such a strange new world.
Yeah. Yeah. Once I start getting people into like watching Twitch, because like I'm finally getting my grandparents into like understanding what Twitch is and everything. And I think that's the turning point. Once you start going, oh yeah, just go on Twitch, and they know what the hell you're talking about, that's it. Like I think that's when we start hitting that same kind of level as YouTube, where we can be like, yeah, just go on YouTube. Oh, just go on Twitch. And they're like, oh, okay, I know what you're talking about. Cool. And, you know,
we'll get there eventually. It's always hard to have that conversation with like extended relatives.
Oh, yeah.
What do you do? I'm an online entertainer. Oh, you do porn? Like, no, that's not okay.
Yep. They call me the pink devil.
Oh, God. Can we get a quote, please?
Chat. You guys can take that one.
The pink devil.
The pink devil. No, so I think that's the truth though. Like talking to my family about like what I do on the side, like you know, because I work full time, but I also do this. And they're like, so what do you do? And I'm like, I explain to them, they're like, so you play video games? And they're like, yeah. And they're like, and people watch you? I'm like, you play like video games and you watch other people play video games. I'm just doing it online. I'm like, and not only that, but don't you like watch sports every other day?
Watch other people play sports.
Cool.
Like, why don't you go play sports?
Yeah, why don't you go out on the basketball courts and shoot threes? You can't because you won't, auntie. Thank you. And then I just go back to what I'm doing.
Sit down.
I eat my food at it's a super awkward Thanksgiving usually, because I'm like
you turn your back like
I'm like in the corner eating my food, and they're like, so what do you do? I'm like, shut up, leave me alone. That's what's up.
I don't want to talk about this.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to diss you like that again.
Like, are you using a college degree? No, I'm not. Please stop asking.
Yeah. Nobody is anymore.
I have a communications degree. I'm always using it. I always communicate.
That's super fair. I communicate good.
I'm super good at communicating and stuff and things. Cool. Yeah. Don't look at my emails. They're horrible. Like horrible. You know how many times it takes me to like send out a message, like sending the message to you.
Yep.
I can't. I don't even, half the time I don't even realize, like I send it and I'm like, did that sound good? I don't know. Whatever. Hopefully it works.
Missed a comma again. Yeah. Is that a run-on sentence? Fuck it. I don't know.
Is that the right there? I don't know. Yeah, it's bad.
Oh God.
It's bad.
Yes.
It's bad.
That's me.
I do the communication thing well. Yeah, I try. So what are some things that you'd like to see implemented in Twitch?
Oh, I would like Twitch to like get their shit together. It's just
Twitch.
Yeah, I mean, Twitch. Like, I love Twitch. Like, I could not do what I do without them. But like, from not appropriately knowing when or like how to ban people, to like people can still make accounts in rapid succession without being prevented.
Yeah,
like to troll people. To like, I don't have my tax forms yet.
Yeah.
Like, Twitch Berlin tickets just dropped today to like less than 2 months away, and nobody even knows like what's happening at the con.
Right.
Twitch is a dumpster fire. But in terms of things that I think they do well, you know, they standing up and taking stances on racism or you know, homophobia, and I would like to see them do a little bit more to push mental health initiatives. It's something, unfortunately, they just don't really. They have a very like stagnant page that you can go to that really it just is there to be there to say like, oh no, we have a thing, but it's not. You know, and it's, yes, I get it. It's difficult, but you know, so there's a lot of stuff I think they could do like in that way. In terms of like the next big things I want Twitch to do, you know what, the things that they're changing are for the best. You know, mod tools have become significantly better. Auto mod needs to not. automod is the worst. I'll say that though. Fix automod. Like when somebody says something and like 2 words completely separated by like a whole paragraph, and automod slams them together and goes, "This looks aggressive." Like those are separate thoughts. Yeah,
there's a whole paragraph between that. What are you talking about?
Yeah, and it's just like that. I don't know. I'm like, what are you doing? So it's that stuff is always draining to go through. And I'm like, I like, you can see me visually be like, okay, all right, well, here we are. Let me just allow that. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I just want Twitch to figure out what they are doing internally. They, with between like running ads on people's channels and stuff, like they really are out of touch with their community at large, and I'm not of the mindset that they owe us anything, and I'm not threatened by advertisements, but like when you keep walking this path, where does it end? Right. And so for me, there's a fear of like, do you know what like we need, and do you know what you're doing? Right. And so those are just the biggest things in terms of like things are rolling out, like the co-streaming thing being like very, very soon. Yeah. And, being able to gift community subs and do all this. Obviously their bottom line is to, encourage spending and things like that.
Absolutely.
Duh. But, I think they're making like the right platform changes, but like internally their messaging is a mess, and that shows through pretty easily. So,
yeah. Well, and, with the whole advertisement thing, there's ways around that they could do and still get the advertisement money. And like, it would be great is if they implemented this. And Twitch, if you're hearing this, use this, please. Is literally you go into chat, you go into the stream, and you guys come in here, and then what it would do is it basically picture in picture. So it would take the ad, put it in the top right corner, and it would show the ad, and you would still hear the ad, but you would see the stream going on, and you can still interact with the stream, and you can still somewhat hear it. But once the ad is over with, then the sound takes over for the stream. That way, you can still. So, like, if you go and raid someone's channel and you're not already following them or you're not subscribed to them, then it makes it easier to raid the fucking stream.
My favorite thing, I've had to start like opening a stream like 10 minutes before I raid, because I raid and I'm just waiting. I don't know what they're saying. I don't know. And then the ad ends and you're like, okay, sorry, there was an ad. Did you say something? I think there's a lot of things I would propose. Like, I don't mind ads, but like, all right, Twitch, give me a checkbox of like, let me approve ads. Like if those ads reflect who I am on my stream, because we all remember YouTube where they had homophobic ads for like a week and a half. Right. Like that was a mess. So like, let us vet that stuff. Do we want a Pokemon ad? No, I don't. Cool. Done. Like,
get rid of it then. Thank you.
Yeah. Or let me pay $20 a month, like as a broadcaster, to run 0 ads. Like, sure. I would do. So there's options, but the whole messaging of like, guys, we want you to keep us accountable. Like accountability only works after you've messed up, which means you're going to intentionally keep messing up. Like
LineCon. I'm just saying.
Yes.
LineCon. I'm just saying.
If I weren't a partner, I would have been part of like LineCon. Somebody pulled me and they're like, hey, your badge says partner. You can actually go past everyone. And I was like, oh, thank God. Yeah. Otherwise, yeah.
Well, so I'm gonna use this. So 2017 TwitchCon was LineCon halved, but here's the thing: is they had it so that the partners and the affiliates were in the same line. Super great idea, and I loved that. Fast forward to 2018, they took the community members, which is everyone, and the affiliates,
and
they went, this is what's going on today. You're going to deal with it. And it's like, well, wait a minute. What? And
general admission should always be separate.
Right. And I'm not trying to say I am the best thing ever. You must bring me in. No, but I fought for my affiliate status. That means that I help make money for the company. Can you at least put me back at 2017 version of TwitchCon where I was going in with the partners, which was super okay with me. And I was okay with that because that means I got in, but like I didn't have, and I'm going to say, this is my own personal experience. I didn't have problems getting in either year because I'm super anal retentive, and I got there like 4.5 hours early because I'm super, I got breakfast at like 6 a.m. and then went straight there. Yeah, I don't care, but that's me. I'm like I'm the lone wolf on that. Not everyone does that, and
people shouldn't have to plan for it.
Right.
That's the issue.
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
I agree. Like there should be partner line, affiliate line, like general admission. Like if you're here to just go like schmooze with your favorite broadcaster, and those the lines like should be handled. Like for me, for the partner line, I walked up, there wasn't a line. I like handed the dude my stuff and he walked me through the metal detector and I was like, cool. And he was like, you can go in. And I was like, okay. Like there was no line there. So merging, it was such a like, is it like, that's all we do. So it was one of merging partner and affiliate, like whatever, like, I don't care, man. But like Twitch has been doing TwitchCon for 4 years now. Like, what are you doing? Like going to PAX South, and that is like the most like underfunded PAX. It's the stepson that PAX didn't want, right? Like you go there and they're like, yep, here's the line. You just wait in it and then you go through. It's real simple. Like I waited in line at PAX South any day for like 10 minutes.
Right. Which I just don't understand. There's so many like I said, and here's the thing with 2017s, they didn't even like explain what was going on. Like I had someone say, oh, you're an affiliate? Yeah, there's another line for you. You can go over there. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I went over there and there was a bunch of partners in line. I was like, so I'm allowed to be in this line? They're like, yeah, you're in this line with us. I was like, oh, sick. All right, cool. I'll be with you guys. And then that was it. Like, but I just don't understand. It's like they fixed one thing, then they break another thing. It's just, if it's not broke, don't fix it, guys. It's okay. Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah, like staff your events, like going there and like having other people that are waiting in line be like, oh yeah, you have to go here. And so because you know like after day one happened, like Saturday at like 4 a.m. everybody got an email like, hey guys, we're changing everything. If you only had a Friday badge, you could come in for free Saturday. Like that's how you know you messed up. When you just comp tickets for a whole day. Yep. Like, and then you go there Saturday and there are like show. It's still messy, but there's like 40 staffers that kind of know what's happening, but not really. Like, well, okay.
Sure. So I'm gonna get what's up, everybody. By the way, for everyone that came in and has been hanging out with us this whole time, or just coming in, or anything like that, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. I really do appreciate it. If you do have any questions, by the way, and you want to throw any questions at Goop, throw some questions in the chat. We'll start answering them. So my whole thing is that I would love to be able to kind of really work for Twitch. I'm not gonna lie, if I could work for their staff, and I've applied 1,000 times, Twitch, just so you know, I don't mind helping you out. I'll work for free. Hell, I'll work for a ticket for the place. I don't care. Just let me help you. Help me, please. For the love of God. No, it's just the whole thing is that I think that what ends up happening is they're like, well, this worked, but this didn't work, so we're gonna fix this, and it just doesn't do anything. It like you're back at square one. So
yeah, there's a lot of projects that are also started internally that never get anything done to them. Communities being one of them. Communities existed. They were like, wow, people don't like it that much, and then they just unsupported it. And it was like, what? Just make it better. It's a good idea, but you pooped on it. Like, like, what are you doing? They're like,
nope, not happening.
Yeah, it's the same thing as like when game developers like they will like remake a game. They're like, if you want a new game, you should buy the remake. And it's like, but you like it, like you didn't do any work here. Like that's not how that should be. You know what I mean? Like, that's not how that works. Yeah. So Twitch is very much like use the thing that's kind of not great, and then maybe we'll make it better. And it's like. That's not okay. Like I'll use it when it's good. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that happens a lot with Twitch.
I think what this, of course, this is turning into like poop on Twitch tonight, but no,
it's as we're on Twitch. Like, please don't ban.
Yeah, please. No, but my whole thing is like it's constructive criticism. Like I think that
they've heard this from somewhere before.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure they've had board meetings about this crap.
I hope.
I mean, maybe they might have. They might have not though. Probably. I'll give the latter. I feel like they might have not. They might have skipped it for like Chipotle or something. They went Chipotle night, and they're like, "What we're going to talk about again?"
It's all their meetings went. Yeah, for sure. That sounds right.
So I think the biggest thing is that if they can just, it's partners need to like. And I'm not saying every partner, but I think it's up to some of the bigger people on the platform to say, listen, guys, there's certain things that are going on right now that I don't think these other guys like. And we make a lot of money for you, but they make a lot of money too, just so y'all know this. Like, the fact that 2017 they had 40,000 people come to TwitchCon. 2018 they had like 50 to 60,000 people come to TwitchCon, and that's insane. So next year it's going to be like 60 to 70 to maybe 80. Yeah. So number one, make sure the venue is big enough. Number two, make sure that the party, wherever you're having the party at, is big enough. They figured that out last year from 2017 to 2018. They figured it out. They got that correct. They got the Wi-Fi thing correct. They got to fix the line thing. That's the next thing in line to fix. Like, once they fix that, it might be all right. It might be good. We might be solid.
Might be.
Maybe.
Deep breaths.
I'm gonna cross fingers and toes and like.
I'm waiting to see how Twitch Berlin goes. That's a pretty good indicator for how TwitchCon's going to go for us. And it's not going to go well. So let me just.
Yeah, it's going to be a straight dumpster fire. I'm predicting. I feel bad because I don't want people that have been waiting for TwitchCon to come to, like, official TwitchCon, not just a Twitch meetup, but official TwitchCon to come to, the EU. I don't want their first experience to be shitty, because then that hurts the platform as a whole, and that sucks. And I think that's the biggest thing is, like, if we can make a good experience, awesome. That means more people will stay and more people will come to maybe the next TwitchCon, but if people
will start flying over to those
right,
or something. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I'd consider it, but this one's been so shady that I was like, hell no.
Well, dude, tickets for TwitchCon Berlin, right? I don't know. I'm assuming probably the same amount as the TwitchCon tickets for California, roughly. But like the flight from where I'm at in Ohio to Berlin, $1,700.
Yeah.
What? That's like the whole. That's more than what I would spend on just going to California, staying there, food, board, all that crap. All of that's less than $1,700. And you're telling me I have to, I'm like, nope, I'm good. Thank you. Fly to Ireland, something first. That makes sense. That probably would work. Thank you, Drew.
There's probably some sneakier ways. Still, it's a lot of money and it's a lot of time. It is so much time to fly overseas. And you see a lot of partner broadcasters that were like, I was gonna go, but because we don't have any information, I have to cancel, and I'm just gonna go to Vegas or something.
Yeah.
Like, so it just,
it's sad.
It sucks. And like I said, I love Twitch. I adore Twitch. They give me like literally the opportunity to do what I do.
Right.
But as of lately, they are deaf to what, like, even as a company, like the steps they take. I'm like, does this make sense? Like, even as a company who is selling a product, like if that were you, this doesn't make sense, much less an entertainment platform. Like,
absolutely.
So it's very weird.
Yeah, and I think there's like small hiccups, and I know they have a team for all of this. That's the thing. It's like I've applied for the team. I know I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I've applied for the team at least once a year for the last like 3 years, and what's going on with it, guys? Come on. Help me out. I just don't like, it doesn't make sense to me why there's so many crazy hiccups. And it's like, use examples of other people like PAX, like, I mean, any big
VidCon, like
anything. Don't use TanaCon, but anything.
God. You know what? Examples
what not to do.
Not to do.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Like, yeah, the idea that Twitch was being likened to the Fire Festival was like,
oh my God.
Oh, like that's not a good look at all from like an outside or an inside perspective. Like, you have to fix that. And and the idea that like Twitch breaks silence by being like last week, they're like, more info soon. And it's like, you haven't said anything in like 2 months. And then you give us a tweet that's, it's just, I don't know. Well,
it's terrifying. It's terrifying for for TwitchCon in California as well. If this is what's going on for this con for Berlin, I mean, I know they know kind of more what's going on for their own, like, boots on the floor in California. That's cool, awesome, but like, I feel like there's going to be issues with that one as well, and I'm afraid
there's never not going to be
no.
Sadly.
Let's see. I'm going to make sure I covered all my bases today. I almost positive.
Hey, no
So I write down notes because I'm so damn forgetful that
I do it too.
I have to. There's no.
I start like getting on rants, and then you're like, okay, well, I guess we're done.
Yeah. So okay, the probably the last thing I'll ask you,
Sure.
is, what do you think would be one piece of advice that you would give as a whole, to anyone that's coming in as a new streamer, but as well as people that have been on the platform that have probably just not hit that growth yet? What's one piece of advice you can kind of throw at them?
That's a good one. One piece of advice for anybody new or who's been here and who isn't like able to make it past that like glass ceiling of 10, 20 viewers, whatever, is just like, nobody ever grew on Twitch by themselves, like ever. From being friends with people in your community, knowing things about them, to being friends with other broadcasters, like that stuff goes so far. I would not be a streamer without being like, I am friends with so many broadcasters. Like I have their phone numbers, we talk, we hang out, like, but the same thing with my community members. Like there are so many community members that I am friends with that identify with what I'm doing. You don't have to have this big higher calling. You don't, like, I talk about mental health. There are people that just play games. That's cool. Like, that's all right. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you're not putting yourself out there for other people, if you're not rating at the end of your streams, if you're not like in other people's chats, fix it. Because like showing that love to other people without expectation means that they will show love back to you. Even if that's, hey, I'm busy, I gotta lurk, that's huge. So nobody on Twitch made it by themselves ever. And I'm going to give a second piece of advice is patience. Like Ninja wasn't Ninja. Like Ninja was streaming for years and years. Ninja has been playing Halo before he was playing Fortnite. Like Ninja didn't just like, boom, it didn't happen. That never happened for Shroud or Lyric. Or like Lyric's been around for forever, but that's a different story.
He's an old man.
Like, yeah, I mean, it takes patience. Like I've been streaming 2.5 years. I don't think that I've hit my stride yet. Like, that's fine. That's okay. Like I'm still, it's not because it's not about the journey. It's about the ride. Right. So just take your time. It's fine. There's no rush to get to the end game. So those are the two big ones.
I like that. Yeah. I think it's sometimes it's hard for people to understand that it's not a overnight success. Like you said, and like I said, I don't like using Ninja as an example, but he is a great example in this. Is he's been on the platform for like 10 years. Like 10 years, and
just in TV days,
right. And people don't know that because people don't research that kind of crap. But he was on 3 professional teams before he finally got some sort of like, traction, and then he started streaming to more than 30 people at a time, and then it became a thing. Then it started to ride out to, oh, he's playing a lot of Halo. Okay, well, he's a Halo streamer, and then it just kind of, it ballooned. But like you said, it's not an overnight thing. And if you think it's an overnight thing, if you think in 1 year you're going to be like the biggest thing, you're going to be the the best thing since Betty White, I'm sorry, but it's just not a thing. Like I'm sorry, I hate to burst your bubble. I'm not the biggest thing, and I don't want to be the biggest thing because I'm afraid to be the biggest thing. I'm not gonna lie to you, but
sure,
it's I think that if you're ready to make the jump, then make the jump, but be prepared to scrape your knee about 1,000 times.
Yeah, I mean, like careers, like if you're doing it for a hobby, like then you should have no issues, right? Like a hobby is, there's like, you still want to like get better and innovate, but like people that go into it for this like career mentality, like careers aren't built in a year or 2 years. Like that's not, people go to college, people then like intern. Then, so when it comes to like streaming, you're no different. Like think of it as your first year is collegiate learning. The second year is internship. Like you're putting in time to like figure that stuff out. And some people explode, and that's okay. The thing that's important to know is that like people's journeys are all different. Like Twitch is 50% random, like luck. What directory are you in, and who sees you, and who wants to host you, and who sees your tweet on Twitter. Like it's all super random. You don't have control over a lot of that stuff. So like patience has to be part of it, you know. For me, it was one of those things where I met somebody like I got, you know, recently I'm sponsored by SteelSeries. That happened at TwitchCon. I knew somebody who was like, I love your stuff. I have a contact at SteelSeries. Like, do you want to meet with them because they like you? And I was like, yes. Without that one person, it wouldn't have happened. So like it just there, it's just, you just got to wait, you know, and, you know, put yourself in the best positions possible for success. And then just, you got to wait. It takes a long time. So
yeah, I like this. I like this comment. Was it Fadux? Buddy of ours Fido. I like that. Buddy of ours was beating Ninja in those Halo tournaments, and still he isn't partnered on Twitch. There you go.
Yep.
There you go. That's straight
just
up.
Right place, right time.
Yep.
Right people.
Knows what waves to ride and what waves to just stay out of, and you know the trends, know the things that you're strong at, and ride those. But if you're not strong at them, try to get stronger. And if you don't know how to, then just figure out something else. Figure out your own wave and try to ride that.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, it's you know, and again, there is like a level of business sense a lot of streamers don't talk about when it comes to Twitch, and that is like, well, you know, this game's kind of hot right now, or this game, you know, my audience enjoys this, and you, obviously you don't make friends with, I mean, you can, right? But like a lot of times your paths don't cross with people who are drastically different. Like I'm not big friends with people who are only playing like Black Ops, you know what I mean? Like it's just the crossover is not super there. So like obviously having friends that are also in your wheelhouse so that you can like, you know, cross pollinate your communities and stuff like that. There's a level of like having business savvy that like, but you can learn that to a degree.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, and in that case, Ninja, you know, right place, right time, a lot of luck, but also has been around, had brand recognition. And so if, you know, if you're going at it for 3 or 4 years and people look at you and they've been like, wow, you've been at it for 3 or 4 years, like that's already huge. You know, if you've been streaming 6 months, even if you do kind of blow up a little bit, like, yeah, that may be impressive, but also you've only been doing it 6 months. Like how much do you know? How embedded are you? You know, there's pros and cons. So yeah, your journey is your journey, and it should never be about the end game, right? We don't live life to die. We live life to experience things, to make friends, to eat great food. And so like Twitch should be no different. Like you know, sometimes I hop on stream and I'm a little tired or whatever, and I'm just going to play some games, and then we get so much love. And I'm like, oh my God, like I just wanted to play Bayonetta tonight, you know, like,
wasn't ready for this.
Those things just happen. Exactly. They just happen, and you can't predict that. You could just do the best you can.
Yeah.
That's it.
No, I like that. I feel that if everyone, like I said before, if everyone like knew how to do this thing, they would all be doing it. Yeah. Everyone pictures playing video games as a kid and saying, "Oh, man, I want to do this for a living," but you know, only a handful of people are going to do it for real. So are you going to be that person, or are you going to sit to the side? I mean, figure it out, you know?
Yep. Put your all into it. Yep.
Yeah. Well, I'm very happy to have you on this podcast. Seriously.
Dude, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I had, I know we were going to do it last week. I'm glad we made it work this week. I actually took the night off in part because I was like, I could stream for 3 hours and then we could do that. And then I was like, you know, I'm just going to take the night off and dedicate time and focus here. And it was a lot of fun. And I'm glad that I was able to bring in quite a few people and have them hang out too.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, and the thing is that, you know, I could podcast to 2 people. I could podcast to 1,000 people. I don't care. To me, it's I enjoy seeing new faces, and I love seeing new faces, but I also love hearing people's story because, you know, when it comes to doing this podcast, it's just, you know, I want to learn people. I want to learn their stories, because everyone's got a story, and damn it, I want to know it, because it's interesting, you know.
Yeah.
You know, I'd love to have,
I agree.
I'd love to have, you know, the people that everyone wants to see on here, but I really like seeing people that I enjoy, because it's, to me, it's much more satisfying. And I think it's one of those things where I can be like, man, this person really, like, even though I don't watch their stream, I really like their stuff just because they're a good person. And that's like the best thing, you know what I mean? And it's hard to like put that in words without people being like, wow, that's super sappy, but it's super sappy because I am super sappy and I don't care.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly. Embrace that.
Yeah. So, no, but it's been an honor to have you on the podcast for sure.
Thank you.
And I'm glad to have you on here. I'm going to give you the floor so you can kind of tell everyone where to find you. Sure. And you go from there.
Well, we have a great website now that's up. You could go to Gooperatives.com, and that's kind of comprehensively where you could find almost anything we're doing anymore. There's a link to the Twitch page. There is, we have one blog article up right now that I've written, and then we have one podcast episode up. We have two podcasts. One is a mental health podcast. Its first episode will be recorded this weekend. And then we have a second podcast called the Cooperative Games Cast, or the GG Cast for short. That is already got one episode up. It is streamer news and gaming news. That one cannot be found live. Like, that can only be found in terms of like on podcast services or the website. So we do a lot of stuff, but yeah, or you can find us obviously twitter.com/cooperatives, twitch.tv/cooperatives. So try to keep everything in brand, easy to find.
I like that. And it's not something that's like, you know, a bunch of numbers and stuff. I like that too.
Cooperatives 6969.
Yeah, 420 blaze up. Thank you. All right, no, I'm good on that. Thank you. That's too much. But anyway, anyways, yeah, like I said, it's been a freaking honor, and it's been an honor to have everyone in the chat. For everyone that's
thank you guys.
I seriously appreciate it, and everyone that came in here. Yeah. You guys are the reason why I do this thing. So, but anyways, I will get you on your way, and I hope you have a great night. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. I hope to see you at TwitchCon. And I'm going. Hopefully I'll take a picture with you. I'm just gonna let you know I'm most definitely shorter than you, guaranteed. So you might have to slouch down. Oh, really? Yeah. Okay. I figured you were tall, so no, I'm. This is Twitch. I'm 5'10", 5'11", but I'm 6 foot. Yeah, you're not that much shorter. Okay. Thank you. I feel so short when I stand next to some of these streamers. I'm like, holy crap, you're tall. And I'm like, I didn't think you were tall. You just sit a lot, so. But, yeah, there's no way to know. But then I've met streamers that have been like super duper tall. I mean, super short. And I'm like, I thought you were taller. You're a liar. Like, I've been deceived. Yeah. I met a streamer and I'm like, you're like 4'2". What the hell? Like, you look so big on your stream. I'm like, oh, it's the camera tricks, you trickster. All right. But anyways, exactly. All right. I'll talk to you later. I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Everyone, thank you so much. All right. I'll see you. All right. Bye. What's up, everybody? I hope you had a fantastic time watching Goop and I chat about mental health, about Warframe, about just being on Twitch as a whole. But if you really did enjoy this, make sure, number one, to go check out Goop if you haven't already. Number two, subscribe to the YouTube as well as to any of the other platforms that I have down in the description, so you guys can check out more of the podcast or any other content that you'd like to check out that I put out there. We stream Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you guys want to check that out, most definitely, I would love to see you there. And that's about it. Have a fantastic day or night. Thanks for watching or listening. And bye.